Hi guys, and welcome to the Caroline Schmid podcast.
Hi guys, this is Caroline and thank you for tuning in today. This is going to be my first story time, which I'm also producing as a podcast. So yeah, let's dive right in. Very wordly taken. Today I'm here to talk to you about a very personal story, which I don't know if you're familiar with like past lives and hypnosis and stuff like that. But basically, I'm just going to start very simple and then get into that topic a little bit. So I've written down some notes. That's why I'm looking down a little bit. But basically, the first thing that I remember is that I really love diving in deep waters, or I feel very calm and it relaxes me when I am surrounded by water. Very honestly, I always played mermaids with my best friend, so there's always also the like fun part to deep waters, but I really want to focus on the like calming, self-healing part of diving in water. So first of all, I remember, or I was on holidays in Italy with my family and some family friends, where we went out with their boat onto the ocean, and then we started basically diving. It was a beautiful sunny day, and the water was like, it was blue. It was like the most beautiful, perfect blue I've ever seen. And because my skin is pretty white, while I was under the water and the sun was shining onto my skin, it basically got golden. So my skin was golden, and you could see like the sun. How do you say that? Like the sun rays reflecting on my skin. So I was like emitting golden light, which was like nice. But then like this like azure blue around me, and because I stayed longer in the water, all the people were already on the boat. It was very calm and there was nothing around me, and I just like closed my eyes for a bit, and it was just like so calming. I'm saying for a bit because at the same time I'm like scared of what is in the deep waters, but because I was pretty like on the surface, like maybe I was like this deep, like here was the water surface. But yeah, so this was like a very beautiful memory of deep waters, and whenever I feel like I need to calm down or just like get back in harmony, I guess, I just tune in into that moment, and then I really feel how how this feeling of like harmony and beauty and like this, I don't know, it's very like heavenly, I guess, comes over me, and then I feel better. So that was like the one memory I have in this life. Then just in general, what I wrote down is that from the like neurological side, for me it is a very good practice to do, because my brain does need to process so many things, meaning I don't see, so there are no visuals, there's no smell because I'm underwater, and there's no sound, or basically little sound. So what my brain is processing or focusing on is, or can better focus on, let's say like that, is the feeling of just being flowy and like being one with the spirit of the water. And if it's nice and warm, it's really nice, and you don't have any weight, and it's just like perfectness basically, and there's no need to do anything. Like it really gives me the feeling of being alive through being and not needing to do anything. So just like presence and being. So that's really nice. Now I want to connect that with the experience I had in my first ever past life regression through hypnosis. I took a class back in 2019 August in QHHT. It's Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And in the class itself, you also practice with the other practitioners in the class. So I was with another woman and a guy in the class, and there's always one doing the hypnosis, then the client, and then the third person is like watching everything, because through watching you can also learn a lot, what to do, what not to do. And because it was our first time ever practicing the hypnosis on someone else, the watcher was also helping the practitioner do the hypnosis. So yeah, I went under, and it was a very interesting hypnosis. I'm just going to tell you the part about deep waters, because the rest is very, very personal. Maybe one day I will talk about it more. But basically, I was a young woman. I had the baby. It was not older than 1 or 2. It was very small. And I had a fight with my best friend. I got very angry, and when I get angry, which is also like how I how do you say, how I behave in this life now, is that when I get angry or pissed off, I just want to be alone. So I go out on a walk or something else like that. And back then, in that life, I took my baby and went to the edge of the cliff because I wanted to jump into the water. I know it sounds very like scary or dangerous, but what I remember from that life is I also saw one of that like films or extracts from that life, is that I was going, I was always jumping from the cliffs with my best friend when we were kids, or I didn't have my own family back then, but before that we were always doing that, and it was such a like fun practice, fun thing to do for me, and at the same time it was so liberating to like jump and then be in the deep waters, which I can't imagine doing that because I'm really afraid of jumping more than like a meter into the water. I've never jumped more than 3 meters into the water. It scares the hell out of me. But back then I was not afraid about that, so that was nice. So yeah, I went to the edge of the cliff, put my baby, he was like in a basket back then. I put the baby on the ground and then I jumped. And what I wanted to do is to jump into the water, get back up, because there were always like little like natural stairs basically made up to the cliff, which would bring you to the surface of where like our village was and stuff. I hope you understand my explanation. But in that moment when I jumped, my body took over. I was lying in this bed in the hypnosis and I started to cry. I heavily started to cry because my body knew what was going to happen. I wouldn't say that the jump itself was very relaxing now in this hypnosis, but basically what I could see is that when the jump was happening, I left my body. And what I could feel is that I basically immersed in the water, which exactly gave me this feeling I told you before, like this really relaxing state, this really like being one with the water and just being, not needing to do something, very like harmonic. And then I felt a hard punch, or a punch, like a hard, I don't know how to say it, but basically my head hit a stone on the ground of the ocean, and I bled out and died. And this is a very not happy ending to that very relaxing story time. But how I'm explaining it is not maybe, I want to tell you the side of the relaxing part, because death itself was so relaxing at the same time, and I didn't feel anything. I could just feel how the rock hit my head. I didn't have any like pain. It was just like a pressure when like a pointy point hits your head. So there was just pressure, and then I was very released, but I was already relaxed before. So let's focus on the relaxing part of the story. What was interesting for me is I cried in the hypnosis because my body knew what was going to happen. And the cries weren't really focused on death itself, but leaving behind my family and not being able to nurture them as a woman, or as in that culture I had this role of nurturing the family. So yeah, I don't know, I really was surprised when I was in this hypnosis, because I always was so drawn to diving, and not like in a sporty way of diving, but just like going underwater and very like immersing myself in that waters. I hope you understand my explanation in that. But yeah, that's basically the story of my hypnosis and the deep waters. And what I think is important to know is that everyone has their things they're drawn to, and maybe you don't know why you're drawn to this thing exactly. So maybe you're interested in doing a past life regression. Sometimes you don't even need. Like for me, it was important to see the hypnosis because there was a lot of other things which were important for me to see, to go through again and to understand, because I had other open questions or issues related to that life, which then got solved through that. But before, I also knew that like the exercise was just good for me to do because I knew it was a solution to my problem. So when I was anxious, when I was pissed off, when I didn't know what to do, when I just felt I'm extremely overwhelmed, and I really did this once. I was living with my family near the Zurich Lake in Switzerland, and I had like 10 minutes downhill to the lake, which was really nice. It was like 10:30 p.m. in the summer, but I knew that I wasn't able to go to bed. I wasn't able to fall asleep because there were so many of these emotions that I didn't know how to process, that I couldn't even like scream them out. Like I didn't know how to handle myself at that time. So I got out of bed and walked down to the lake, went into the water, and because it was dark and I have this like fear of things being in the water, I didn't like go far from the shore, but I was in the water. I could go under the water and dive and just be still, and also like talk to the water. I don't know if that sounds cringe for you, cringy, but you can talk to the water, you can talk to trees, you can talk to the wind. Everything is energy, everything is spirit of nature, and the spirit, you can talk to the spirit of the water. You can acknowledge the spirit of the water, or I would say I acknowledge the spirit of the Zurich Lake first, then go into the water, because the being of the water source, I would say, is healing. Nature is healing. So first I acknowledge the waters, the being of the Zurich Lake, and then I ask the spirit of the water to take everything from me that doesn't serve me anymore, which I then feel basically when I like lie in the water, that it's pulled out of me. It's like, you know, like chewing gum or like cheese, like warm cheese, that is like taken out of me into the water. Like water is clearing my body. And then when I feel okay, the practice is done, then I get out of the water, I say my thank yous to the spirit of the water, and then I go. So back then, when I did this at 10:30 p.m., I was lucky that there were still other people because it was summer, they were like barbecuing, but I really listened to my body at that time. And when I went home, I could fall asleep so much better. And sometimes you don't even need to understand all your emotions. You just need to know, or not even needing to know, but listening to your intuition, listening to your body, what it needs, and then to do that. So thank you for listening. I hope this was interesting for you. And please share this with 3 other friends which you think they can also benefit from listening to this podcast or video, however you're seeing this right now. So thank you and see you soon.